Alright, hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about the King Air 200 hydraulic and pneumatic systems. Alright, first off, the pneumatic system. What is the pneumatic system? It's just bleed air from the engine, providing compressed air for our different systems. Some of those systems include bleed air for our door seal, and what that's going to do is that's going to prevent outside air from getting into our cabin and messing up our cabin pressurization system. So that door seal is going to expand as the bleed air, that pressurized air, enters. It's going to expand and seal off that cabin. Next, we've got ice boots on the wing. Once again, that bleed air is going to get into the ice boots. It's going to expand those ice boots and cause ice to break off of our wings so we don't have the ice on, creating all that drag. So it expands the ice boots and gets the ice off. Yep, that's the ice boots. Bleed air warning system. We'll talk about that later. And the rudder boost. Once again, we'll talk about that later. All right. Regulation. So the lines are regulated to 18 psi, and if it goes over that, then we've got these pressure regulators that are gonna dump some of that air outside, so to keep it regulated to 18 psi. Both engines supply bleed air. It's regulated, but we only need one engine to provide. One engine will provide enough bleed air for the whole system. De-icing. Once again, we have our boots on the wing, but we also have brake de-icing. And how that works is that bleed air is really hot, and so what's going to happen is it's going to get blown onto the brakes by these nozzles, and that hot air is going to cause the ice to melt and get the ice off our brakes. And alright, next up we have our vacuum system. It's also a part of the pneumatic system. And how it works, we have something called an ejector, and it's going to change that high pressure air. It's going to flow through a venturi, and this venturi is going to cause that high pressure to turn into low pressure. And then that low pressure is going to, hold on, let me restart right there. That air inside of the gyroscopic instruments, air moves from high to low, so the air inside the gyroscopic instruments is higher pressure, and then it's going to get sucked to that area of low pressure, and it's going to spin up those gyros really fast and make them work. Alright, so our bleed air warning system. This is going to tell us if one of the lines ruptures or anything happens that we need to know about. Because if one of those lines ruptures, that hot air is going to be blown onto the airframe and it's going to cause damage. So if that happens, we want to know about it. And another thing it can tell us, when the temperature reaches 204 degrees, that plastic tubing is going to start to melt, and we're going to get some annunciators that pop up, like you'll see L, left bleed air fell, or right bleed air fell. It's nice to know about that. Here's a couple of diagrams I have. You can see we have our high pressure highlighted in the red, and then we have our low pressure or regulated bleed air in the light red. And one thing I didn't talk about yet was our rudders are actually actuated by that bleed air, so that compressed air is going to help our rudders. When we're moving really fast, there's going to be a lot of drag, and it's going to be hard to move those rudders if we didn't have the help of our compressed air. It's going to help us yaw left and right. Yeah. And then here's another diagram. You can see at the bottom we actually have something new here now. The vacuum in the green. And then we also have those bleed air lines, and everything again. Alright, next we have hydraulic system. So the King Air 200, the only thing that's hydraulically powered is actually the brakes. And how those brakes work, whenever you press on the pedals, you're going to activate the master cylinder. This rod's going to be pushing on the hydraulic fluid, and that's going to send hydraulic pressure to the calipers, and it's going to squeeze the brake pads. If you want to activate the parking brake, just press your feet on those brake pedals and then pull that parking brake back, and then it'll retain the pressure in the brake lines. So you'll have those brakes activated without actually having to keep your feet on those pedals. If you're wondering, the landing gear is actually electrically actuated in our King Air. It's not hydraulic, which surprised me. So that's everything. There's my references, and thanks for listening.